Unfortunately, business and government in America and across the world are seeing increased levels and frequencies of cyber attacks and the rapidly accelerating sophistication of state-sponsored and privately organized cyber criminals. Over the past few years, this subcommittee has conducted government oversight and produced legislative initiatives and worked diligently to provide the Department of Homeland Security and other federal agencies with the tools it needs to protect our systems and our databases, and encourage the participation of private industry both in the critical infrastructure sector and for information sharing. Today we're going to hear from private industry and a representative of their state insurance regulatory commissioners about cyber insurance. While the full committee, and particularly this subcommittee, has no oversight or legislative jurisdiction over the cyber insurance activities of those actors and sectors, we do have an interest in how they are doing. The statistics are familiar to us all. The percentage of U.S. critical infrastructure assets owned by private sector firms is estimated to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 85%. The way these assets are operated and managed has vastly changed over the last few decades due to the impact of the digital revolution related to computer-based information systems. These changes have increased the efficiency associated with using our infrastructure assets. The digital revolution, however, has also created serious risk to the nation's critical infrastructure due to actual and potential cybersecurity breaches. As noted by President Obama in his executive order on cybersecurity on February 12, 2013, he stated, "Repeated cyber intrusions into critical infrastructure demonstrate the need for improved cybersecurity. The cyber threat to critical infrastructure continues to grow and represents one of the most serious national security challenges we must confront." Last year set a high bar for the size and scope of data breaches, led by the theft of over 20 million government background checks. And with that high bar and increasing interest in how state and local governments and businesses, large and small, can manage their risk and vulnerabilities when they operate in cyberspace. For example, recently on a panel on lessons learned from the real world Chief Information Security Officers, the University of Virginia's Randy Marcani explained that the increased and sophistication of the level of today's cyber threats forces him to assume that hackers already have access to his network, and the best he can do is to monitor for when the latent threat becomes active. With that said, let's cut to the chase. What would a cyber insurance policy look like if an experienced Chief Information Security Officer of a company or municipal government came to your insurance agency with the proposition that it is likely that his systems had already been hacked and the malware was likely dormant, but he wanted to purchase insurance from you as to mitigation and repercussions? Or, to complicate things even more, and to introduce the well-known moral hazard consideration that accompanies many insurance policy, what if a hypothetical Chief Information Security Officer knew he had been hacked, but wasn't telling you or anyone else, and he knew or suspected that the hacker intrusion was lying dormant and would activate at some later date? I am not the first to pose these kinds of questions, and these are questions I am sure all of us have had, if you contemplate the issue of cyber insurance at all. But the worst-case scenarios going forward, cyber insurance can play a key role in helping businesses, especially small and mid-sized businesses, to assess their cybersecurity posture and readiness, and their ability to be resilient and recover from anticipated cyber threats and attacks. We're engaged in an exceptionally complex and nuanced policy arena. I am especially interested to see how the states will handle the regulatory responsibilities that surround cyber insurance and how the states can serve as incubators for innovative solutions to the national, international, and industry-wide challenge of cybersecurity for our nation's businesses and government agencies.